Well, one thing both sides do agree on is that Queensland is a crucial state. Before Wednesday, Labor was facing an electoral wipeout. Now those on the hustings have a new spring in their step. But the LNP says nothing's really changed. Brad Ryan has been examining the Rudd factor.
So that's a real challenge for Rod McGarvey.
Here we're trying to... morning. That's good. My name's Laura. I'm the Labor candidate for Bonner.
On Queensland's front line, the campaign's foot soldiers are picking up the pace.
I'm the Labor candidate for Bonner in the federal election.
And strategies are being rethought. What had seemed like a lay-down misère for the coalition has become a much more interesting contest.
Prior to the change of leadership, I thought the ALP could lose all 8 seats, including Mr Rudd's.
What you see is the real sense of optimism on the ground from the Queensland Labor Party.
We had a very strong contest at the last federal election. We'll have a very strong contest again at this election.
3 days ago, Rod McGarvey's opponent in the Brisbane seat of Lilly was a Deputy Prime Minister and Treasurer. Now he's a Labor backbencher and no friend of the party's new, old leader.
From Wayne Swan's perspective, potentially, he's said some pretty strong things about Kevin Rudd, so that would perhaps be a little bit awkward for him.
Mr McGarvey says he never expected to stroll it in, but neither does he think the public support he's received will wane with Kevin Rudd's resurrection.
We'll have to wait and see, because I think some of the polls around Kevin Rudd are perhaps misleading. So they're both dysfunctional. Doesn't matter whether it's Rudd or Gillard. They're dysfunctional and people are going to mark them down for that.
Morning, how's it going?
Across town, Labor's Laura Fraser-Hardy is fighting to win Bonner from the LNP's Ross Vasta. She says the signs suggest her campaign is back on track.
I think that it means that we can move forward, that we can start talking about those issues that are important. I think that, again, being a Queenslander, Kevin Rudd is able to speak about those issues that are important to people in Queensland.
It's just given everyone a boost. So we had a lot of campaigns that were really working hard on the ground, but I think this has just given them that extra level of belief and support, and it's something that we absolutely want to capitalise on.
Labor holds just 8 of Queensland's 30 lower house seats. The most vulnerable are Moreton, Petrie and Lilly. Capricornia is the only Labor-held seat outside the southeast, and sitting MP Kirsten Livermore is not recontesting. The Ipswich seat of Blair and neighbouring Oxley, while safer, are anything but secure. And Rankin is also up for grabs, with Craig Emerson bowing out. The returning Prime Minister has an 8.5% margin in Griffith.
He may have saved his own seat. It'll be interesting to see what the impact will be on the other seats.
And on the road to the election, even Gillard backers are suddenly seeing the light.
I am supporting the caucus decision. I'm also supporting the Prime Minister. I'm supporting Kevin Rudd because I think he can make a real difference in our chances of the next election.
But some scars run deep.
I have to admit, it would appear that within the general public, he has a capacity to connect with them that perhaps we didn't with Julia's leadership. But unfortunately, I still can't reconcile in my own mind the difficulties that he has created for the party in his drive to get back into the lodge.
While all may be forgiven if Mr Rudd's restoration truly proves a game changer, commentators say popularity without policy change will not be enough.
Coal is Australia's major export. Queensland is the major exporter of coal. The mineral tax, or the mining tax, had a big impact on his demise from office. It's been a policy and political disaster. That's one thing. The carbon tax has big impacts on Queensland because of the way we generate electricity. That's been one of the big bugbears of the Gillard government. He's going to have to tackle that.
The party's strategists are promising positive, policy-focused campaigns.
We will just continue to focus on promoting our positive plan for a strong economy, a strong, prosperous economy and a safe, secure Australia.
All we see from Tony Abbott and from the campaign is negativity. And I think Queensland is well and truly sick of it. So I think the opportunity for the Labor campaign is to actually run a positive campaign and actually talk about the issues that we want to talk about.
But already it's getting very personal.
The dysfunction in the government.
Rudd had contempt for the cabinet.
This has been the thing, hasn't it, over the past number of years. I think the strongest critic of the Labor Party have been the Labor Party themselves.
The leadership switch has also given Labor an opportunity to sharpen its attacks on another Queensland leader.
With Kevin now as Prime Minister, he's well in touch with the Queenslanders' fear about the damage Campbell Newman has done, and also the concern they raise about Tony Abbott. And Kevin's uniquely placed to highlight that.
Although the Newman government will be a target for them, the Newman government is riding high still in the polls. The Newman government has settled down, and the recent Newman government budget was a very mild budget. In economic terms, they fudged it, but politically they got it right for Tony.
The Newman government is doing a terrific job, and I think Queenslanders are seeing that, and we will absolutely be using Premier Campbell Newman as part of our campaign.
They've also enlisted the former head of the Australian Medical Association to take the fight to Kevin Rudd in his own seat.
My strategy is simply to get out there and just walk the streets, door to door, house to house, business to business, and listen.
As yet, the campaign has no end date, with the new Prime Minister upholding an old tradition and keeping voters guessing.
I don't really know much about it, but I'm glad Kevin Rudd's back in.
And why?
I think he would probably do a better job than Gillian Gillard, and I think Tony Abbott will ruin us.
I think the country's just absolutely had it, and we're the laughing stock of the world.
It would be better for the Labor Party if he went and Julia Gillard went and start again.
I don't really think Kevin Rudd should actually be in, but he is.
It's Labor's big gamble, and there's more than the Prime Minister's job on the line.
I think we've turned a new leaf. The community and the electorate can see that we are prepared to make the big changes and the big difficult choices, and that's going to be the difference.
The face may have changed again, but the problem remains Labor.